morning.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Smack-a-ma-gob, everybody. It is time for the only news that matters. And this news matters because Hotter Than Hell turned 50 years old yesterday on October 22nd, 1974. And it's the sophomore album from a New York outrageous costume and face-painted hard rocker. Still a relatively unknown proposition at the time, Kiss had unveiled their eponymous debut only 6 months earlier. But its modest sales hardly suggested the decade of success to come. Paul Stanley of Kiss, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss had yet to convince each other's either customers and the rock establishment that their striking image and powerful sound was more than a passing novelty. Right from the start, the album's recording was marked with difficulties. Most were centered on the band's relocation to Los Angeles, where the producing team of Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise, also responsible for Kiss's first album, was then based. They were still coming to grips with the equipment at Village Recorders. If the famous lacking production in Hotter Than Hell was any indication. Paul Stanley of Kiss said, "We hope to remedy the sonic deficiencies we found on the first album. We were never as rock and rolly or good timey as we sounded on the album. We were much heavier live. So for Hotter Than Hell, we tried to capture sonically how we sounded live. Unfortunately, the people that we were working with might not have been the right people to do it with. To make matters worse, Paul Stanley of Kiss, his guitar was stolen on the very first day in town, and Kiss, their label, was too busy trying to stay in business to offer much hand-holding. Still, none of that deterred them from completing several bona fide feature classics, like Got to Choose, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, and the title cut. The latter of which went on to enjoy years of fan acclaim in concert. Other Hotter Than Hell notables include Simmons' lecturous love song, which is Going Blind, as well as Watching You, and the Criss sung Mainline. There were also 3 songwriting contributions from Frehley, Parasite, Strange Ways, and With Stanley Coming Home. Though Kiss, the lead guitar, is still lacking the confidence to sing on any of them just yet. He said, "I wasn't ready for it at the time. I was insecure about my singing voice. When I recorded my first lead vocals in 1977 on Shock Me, I recorded singing on my back with the lights down in the studio." Meanwhile, the album's art for Hotter Than Hell will become among the most iconic of Kiss's career. And that's no small feat in such a large and visual arresting catalog. The front based a comic book style design inspired by Japanese manga, while the provocative rear sleeve was glamorous shots were taken by noted photographer Norman Seth. Unfortunately, Casablanca Records has become all but paralyzed after cutting ties with distributor Warner Brothers. The label could provide little marketing support beyond a token radio promotion campaign and a televised ad. At this point, even shipping albums to record stores was a major challenge. The new LP saw sales, wasn't that really good throughout the winter of 74 and 75. So Kiss cut short the Hotter Than Hell tour so they can quickly cut the follow-up, Dress to Kill. That project would also be properly distributed by Casablanca's new partners, Polygram. Their well-deserved commercial breakthrough would have to wait until the release of the Kiss's double album concert Alive in 1975, when a broader marketplace finally got to hear many of these songs. Because a lot of people didn't hear these songs because the first 3 Kiss albums were not selling. And man, there was a time I liked Hotter Than Hell more than the other 2 of the first 3. Then I liked Dress to Kill more. Now I'm like, no, the first album is the best Kiss album. But I love Hotter Than Hell. You know, there's a reason why it was my favorite of the 3. You know, it's always been Rock and Roll Over as far as studio albums go. I mean, overall, Kiss Alive is the best Kiss album. Then Ace Frehley's solo album. But, yeah, this album, though, man, the production, it sounds like it's in a tunnel, and it gives the vibe, such a vibe, to this album. You know, and I think the songs fit perfectly with the vibe of the song, with the exception of Coming Home. I think Coming Home would have benefited more on the production on Dress to Kill. And take She, with I think She would have been perfect for Hotter Than Hell to have that dingy sound. I would have loved that. Put Coming Home on Dress to Kill and then put She on Hotter Than Hell. Man, that would have taken this album over the top, I think, man. You know, as far as the dark, grimy vibe that Dress to Kill had. I mean, Hotter Than Hell had. You know? And yes, I have said this in the past. I'm not a fan of Got to Choose, the opening track. It's my least favorite song on the album. I'm just not a fan of it. I love the rest. You know? But man, Got to Choose is loved by everybody. And, you know, it did make Kiss Alive. And I really can't tell you, which version's better. I guess Kiss Alive. I guess. But I still don't like it. You know? Who's your baby? You know, it's just not into that, man. Not that it's a horrible song. Don't get it twisted. Let's cut the deck. I don't think it's a horrible song. I just don't think it's as good as the rest of this album. At all. But a lot of people love this song, so what the hell do I know? I do consider myself extremely happy that Kiss was filmed during this time. And the Winterland show, which I feel is the greatest Kiss show. The greatest. I mean, this video I thought had all 4 of them playing at their highest velocity. Pure awesome. You know, I mean, this was an awesome band. You know, and to make this the only news that matters, I got to bring up this fact. Because by bringing up this fact is why this is the only news that matters. Alright? This is a fact. No matter how much Gene and Paul tried to spin how they're the ones that kept Kiss going and this and that, Ace and Peter were just as driven as Gene and Paul in the early days. Then, when fame came in, it got all fucked up. And when it got all fucked up, what does Gene and Paul talk about? Yeah, Ace Frehley did not come do the guitar solo of Sweet Pain because he had a card game to go to. Shame on Ace. What does Kiss do a few years later? There's a bunch of songs Gene Simmons doesn't play on. Unmasked or Dynasty. And Paul doesn't play on every song on Unmasked and Dynasty. You know? And Peter's not on it at all. So they attack Ace for one song, you know? I know there's some song. Okay, maybe not. Maybe Dynasty, I'm a little wrong. Of Paul and Gene not playing all the songs. I don't think they did. But I know for sure on Unmasked, Shandy's all Paul with a drummer. You know, Ace is all Ace. with Anton Fig. Well, yeah, Anton Fig is on Shandy too. So, yeah, it's just hypocrisy. But, just letting you all know, this was 4 bands firing all cylinders. You look at that footage of the Winterland. Whew. This was a pissed off killer band. I could just imagine how people's mind must have been blown. Like, can you imagine going to 1974, going to a show and there's Kiss? Because that Winterland show, they were opening for Manfred Mann. They weren't headlining. And as I understand, there's another Winterland show that was filmed, but nobody knows what happened to that. But hey, at least one of it survived. You know, my God, it's such a killer video, man. Now, with the Kiss Hype Machine, when they became huge, Hotter Than Hell went gold in June 23rd, 1977, having shipped 500,000 copies. The album was re-released in 1997 in a remastered version. It peaked on the Billboard charts at number 100 without the benefit of a hit single. Hotter Than Hell is darker than the band's first album, and this is partly due to the murky production, but also the lyrical content of some of the songs, like Going Blind, which details a doomed romance between a 93-year-old and a 16-year-old. You know, it was a song written by Simmons and Stephen Cornell, who's a known pedophile that's, I believe, still in jail, during their days with Wicked Lester. The original title was Little Lady, and the song's original second verse lyric, revived by Simmons for the MTV Unplugged appearance, as well as a live force. They played that on live force. Oh yeah, that stupid orchestra thing. So forgettable. Anyway, a live force suggested that the song's narrator is a sea captain addressing a mermaid. Oh boy. Hotter Than Hell featured many more overdubs than the first album. While Kerner and Wise wanted to produce and record, that captured Kiss as a live act, they decided to take advantage of the experience the band had gained as recording artists. Okay. In an interview with Songfacts, Greg Prato in 2013, Richie Wise shouldered the blame for the album's subpar sonic, saying, "For whatever reason, moving to California, my head wasn't in the right place. It was more of a chore than it was out of love, that album. And my heart and soul didn't get there. I don't remember having any breathing time. It was just too much exhale. It wasn't enough inhale, exhale. Not enough give and take. I was going through a bunch of changes at the time. I moved from New York to California, and I never moved like that in my life. I made a big move, and it was just the big time for me, and Hotter Than Hell took a back seat, and I apologize." On August 24th, 1974, Ace Frehley was involved in a car accident. One day after that car accident, they had another photo session with Seth. And due to Frehley's having stitches on the left side of his face, he did the photo shoot with only half his makeup on. And then there's the songs on the album. And to me, the standout, the greatest song on this album is definitely Parasite. Then I'll go with Watching You and Strange Ways. That's the top 3 songs. But other than Got to Choose, and yeah, Hotter Than Hell, I think it's better at the end. Hotter Than Hell is not a bad song. You know how it's going from the beginning, but once it hits the gong and it's going da-na-na-na-na-na, I think the song gets 100 times better. I love that part. And then there's Let Me Go Rock and Roll, I got a problem with. I don't like it. It's too short, and it just doesn't make a statement that when they play it on Kiss Alive, it's my favorite song on Kiss Alive. The jam part, everything about it is so much better. But yeah, and I love All the Way, Mainline, Coming Home, Strange Ways, man. The way Peter sings that song, insane, man. And it's kind of got a Sabbathy feel, heavy, crazy ass guitar solo, man. Again, it's Ace Frehley song. Ace Frehley wrote Parasite, and he wrote Strange Ways, and he co-wrote Coming Home, you know? But, yeah, I think Frehley definitely is the standout on the album, the VIP sort of thing. But, yeah, happy 50th birthday to Hotter Than Hell, man. What do you all think of this album? Please leave it in the comment below. I'd love to know what you think. And thank you for watching The Only News That Matters. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And ring that little notification bell. I sure would appreciate that. And if you're already subscribed, please check to see if you're still subscribed. Because people are getting unsubscribed for no reason. And that fucking sucks. So, thank you so much for watching. And again, thank you so much for watching. And like the video, it's good for the YouTube algorithm. So stay frosty. Listen to Hotter Than Hell. And smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.